What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Where I Come From, where the only requirement is to be where I come from. It is I, Mr. Tone Deaf. We are back in the building on this beautiful day here in the city of Milwaukee. And I know I've been away for a minute, but if you've been keeping track of anything and everything I've been doing right now, your boy's been busy, okay? But it's a good thing. So you're going to definitely see more of me in the upcoming months, more content, more live streams, more just helping you help you. So today I am joined by a very beautiful, lovely guest. You're actually going to see more from her pretty soon as well, too, because this upcoming Saturday at the Black Business Expo, myself, along with Savannah Burks of Lupus Has No Face, will be doing small candid interviews of members of the Black Business Expo panel, and she is definitely going to be one of them. So this is going to be a very interesting. But before we even get there, we're going to have a nice little conversation about who she is and what she has going on. So let's go ahead and let's start with you introducing yourself.
Hi, my name is Kanini McDaniels. I am born and raised right here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm currently a business relationship manager for BMO Bank, and I am a published author.
Okay. Shout out to this public authors out here. As you can see, her book is right here. We're going to talk a little bit more about it in a minute. But what is a public relationship officer?
A business relationship manager?
Yeah, business. I'm sorry. Y'all got to understand, I have been moving and grooving, and yeah.
No problem. So my goal is to work with businesses,
Okay.
to make sure they have the resources they need to, grow or to actually become a business. Like
Okay.
sometimes some business owners don't even know where to get started.
Exactly.
So I help them find out, where to get started and what resources you need as a
Okay.
business to operate and thrive.
Okay. What are some of the most common resources you are starting to see that a lot of these small businesses are not having in the beginning?
So first off, in the beginning, they don't even have a basic business checking account.
Okay.
um, so it's or even a business plan, a
Mm,
business structure. So a lot of businesses that start now, you have a great idea,
right.
but you don't have the structure
Right.
behind it. You don't have a plan behind it. And even just so starting off with a basic business checking account is important,
That
right?
is definitely important.
Starting off with it, making sure you have your EIN, your LLC. I tell a lot of business owners because sometimes you start off in one direction and then you may need to pivot in another
Right.
direction if you see that direction is going to be more beneficial. So sometimes I say when you start off, make it vague. Jones Enterprises, Jones Investments.
Right.
That way, when you start to decide exactly what direction you want to go, you can still keep the business
Okay.
and you can just grow it in the direction you need to go.
That's
Um, I tell a lot of business owners too, get the LLC started. So one thing that we look for in banking is time in
okay.
business.
Right.
So you gotta have that's the first thing we're gonna look at. So you gotta get the time in business established.
Okay.
And that's very important. Some people are like waiting for, I don't even know what you're waiting for. Just
They waiting for the moment.
just
They waiting
wait
for
for
the
the moment.
product. They're waiting for it to be able to go out there and says, "Hey, I can sell you this right now." But
Right.
a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't understand time is important, especially when it comes to business credit.
Yes.
Our people are just now getting pretty knowledgeable about personal credit, and a lot of people don't understand business credit, even though it kind of behaves in the same way. It's also a little bit different. Like you guys, well, not say you guys, when it comes to loaning for business credit, there's a few things they lean and care more about than you would with personal credit, and time in business is one of those.
Yes.
So not the time you opened your doors for your store and started selling your candles you made, but the time you established the business. So that makes a big difference.
Because I have some resources
Okay.
that can give you funding, but they can't give you funding if you've been in business less than 2 years. Sometimes they
Mm.
don't even look for financials. You can use stated income,
Mm.
but because you haven't been in business 2 years and literally being in business 2 years on paper, right?
Right.
As far as like you had this established and registered with DFI
Okay.
for a number amount of years, they can't do anything. You
Okay.
know, so there's some businesses that will work with startup, like some organizations that will work
Right.
with startup.
That was going to be my next question.
Um, but also too, you know, again, I can't stress enough, get it established.
Yes, definitely. So I'm glad you brought that up about startups. So you're telling people, hey, get your business established. 2 years is when a lot of lenders or donors or grants will look at that. But what if you haven't done anything financially during that 2 years? So you don't have things like tax returns or income. Everything is projected. Will that hurt them?
No, not
Okay.
at all. Again, it depends on the organization. And some organizations will support you even though you haven't started making money yet.
Okay.
You know, sometimes it takes time to put things in place to get to the point where you can start making money.
Okay.
And they understand that.
Right.
Also, too, you know, you got to have a plan. So, a lot of times you got the business started, but you haven't tweaked out all the plans and the structure. And
Right.
that takes some time, and
It
we're okay
does.
with that. But, you know, it's about making sure you have that plan in place. And once you have that plan in place, you have the projections. We know how you're going to make money. We know how you're going to manage your expenses. That part can help you get the funding.
Okay.
But again, you got to have it
Right.
established.
So this is a question me and you talked about before,
Mhm.
but I want to go ahead because I know it's a big issue with a lot of small businesses. What about those businesses that pay for everything out of their personal pockets?
No, put the circle and the line through it. No,
Okay.
absolutely not. Stop commingling your funds. Stop it.
Can
It's
you
bad.
explain for those who don't know what commingling means?
Commingling your funds means that you are having your business and your personal together pretty much. So basically, you're getting money from the business, but it's coming through your personal account. You're using Cash App, you're using a Zelle, but they're attached to your personal account. So you're collecting these funds in your personal account, and there's no distinguish. So let's just say sometimes I have a lot of hairdressers
Right.
that do this. You're doing hair. You got a bit, you got a name for the business,
Right.
right? You even got an LLC and an EIN number, but you're collecting all your funds through your personal account. And the problem is with that is very hard for financial institutions or people who want to give you money to basically determine your cash flow when you
Right.
have everything intermingled with your personal funds.
So for those Cash App based businesses, because at one point in time, I tried to completely remove myself from Apple Pay, Cash App, any of those things. But unfortunately, my clients, that was their method of conveniency in regards to it. Do you think in these particular cases, we should establish business based programs? So, like for an example, with Cash App, you can create a business Cash App instead. So even though let's just say they haven't gotten a business account yet, right? They're still using their own personal account, but the Cash App is considered business. Would that still be considered commingling? Or okay, I'm asking questions. Ask people who experience it because I know a lot of people are like, well, my Cash App says businesses, so no.
Because the name on the account is your personal name.
Gotcha.
You have to have a business account. I just cannot stress that enough. And I'm not saying that because I work for a bank. It's so, for example, I'm in business. I do a lot of business loans, right?
Right. Which we
And
gonna talk one of these days
yeah.
because I needs the money.
And nowadays,
Right.
when we are looking to establish cash flow, right, we want your business bank statements.
Okay.
Okay. So we're looking at the money coming in and the money coming out. Are you then in the negative every month? Do you only have $1 balance left at the end of the month? We want to know what that balance ends with at the end of
Okay.
the month. What expenses are coming out of that account? What how the money is going into that account? So and it has to be a match the business name
Right.
too, you know? So that's the only way we're able to say, okay, this is how your cash flow is going by seeing that money going in the business account. If it's going into your personal account, we can't really use that and tie it to the business.
Gotcha.
And also, too, you need to be able to show a clear distinction between being able to pay your bills and business expenses.
Okay.
You're paying the business, you're paying your personal bills with the business money, and then like in your business expenses too. That's another reason why you don't want to commingle funds. You
Right.
want to be able to show if I'm going to take on more debt for my business, my business can afford it.
Gotcha.
And if you're commingling the funds, we can't tell if you using, you're using the business money to pay your personal bills and taking your personal money to pay your business bills, and it's just
Right.
commingled.
So I have a question, and it just came in my mind. What about individuals who are DBAs? Or for those who don't know what that means, doing business as. So we do have some individuals who may have a small entrepreneur business, but instead of, they're still using their own EIN as their social security number, but they're doing business as instead. How would those individuals be able to separate the two? Because when it goes to looking for business loans and stuff like that, it's technically still their social security number.
That is correct. So one thing I will say is still establish a business account for the DBA
Okay.
to show that these are the funds that I'm doing business as in this, in this area right here.
Right.
This is how I'm doing this. Um, and then, my question, what's stopping you from getting that EIN number and getting the business established as a LLC or whatever the case may be? Like, there's tax benefits to that.
Okay.
Now, I'm one of those people. I say everybody stay in their lane, right?
Right.
You let the experts be the experts. So go to a tax accountant, get an accountant, get a business lawyer. Make sure you understand structure and go to the experts. I can tell you what I know just based on being in the business, but
Right.
I'm not the expert. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So when it comes to your own individual tax situation, you should talk with an accountant to know the benefits, why it's important to set up an LLC versus your EIN. You also, and one thing I can tell you right away is liability.
Right.
Liability. If you're going to be doing business under your under your own social security number, anything that happens with that business gonna fall. It's gonna affect your personal assets.
This is
because
true.
You have it all together, and now the liability is on you
Right.
under your social. So that's
And I had to learn that because when I first initially started TDR, I did it as a sole prop because at the time it was only it was just me. I didn't have no partners. I didn't have nobody else. So I didn't see the reason for it to be an LLC when everything is falling back on me too. Like it's coming out of my own pocket in the beginning. I'm paying the monthly subscription fees. I'm buying the equipment. So I did everything as a sole prop. But then when the housing market became a little bit of issue and my actual personal credit got affected by it, my business lending got affected by it. Like people would look at that and be like, well, your score is this, so we can't do nothing. It's like, but this is for business reasons. So I had to eventually change it over to be its own entity. And now I have two different EINs in regards to it. I have the original one that's considered a sole prop, but then I have the LLC for the business in regards to it. And my biggest difficulty I'm having with the business LLC right now, it doesn't have a score. It's still sitting literally as if nothing's ever been linked against it. And I know this is going to be a common issue for a lot of small businesses who are starting up because you're just now technically starting a business. How do we help improve the business side of our credit?
So I always say, as a business owner, starting off with a small business, the first opportunity to get any type of financing and start establishing business credit is usually through like a business credit card.
Okay.
And now there's other ways that you can like Duns and Bradley and establish business credit that way. But here's I can't also another thing I have to stress the importance of is working on your personal credit.
Right.
Because as a business owner, until you get to commercial level where your business is grossing in the millions and you can use assets
Right.
leverage, you're gonna be a personal guarantor.
Okay.
And if your personal credit is not substantial, if it's bad, you got collections, you got judgments against you, it's going to be very hard for you to get financing.
Okay.
And if you do get financing from anyone, your interest rates are going to be extremely high. So I always say work on your personal credit. Your personal credit is your resume. It's your financial resume. It tells us how many jobs you had, where you lived, how you're managing your personal credit. Because believe it or not, from what I see, people who manage their personal credit poorly is going to manage the business financing poorly as well.
Okay.
But I always say start with a business credit card. Some businesses or some financial institution, you can also get a vehicle just under your business EIN number. It doesn't even have to. It won't report on your personal credit, or they don't look at that as well. And that's again if you need that. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? It's got to work for the business. It's got to be a business need for that.
Right.
But a lot of times too, and the reason why I said business credit card is because most institutions you can have 0 years in business and get a business credit card.
Right.
Now, one thing I have been finding out is it's harder. They're making it a little bit harder nowadays to get a business credit card if your location is home based. So you might
Mm.
have to look at setting up a virtual space,
Mm.
So that's
Okay.
that's
Well, we're not going to talk about this too much more because we want y'all to actually come out to the Milwaukee Black Business Expo
Yes.
February 28th, where they will actually be on stage talking about why they are bosses and what they do as we celebrate Black excellence and of course beautiful women as well too, because the panel is all women including the, okay, so you definitely want to talk about. So let's pivot a little bit because you're more than just BMO Harris. You're also a very important person at a very important organization here in the city of Milwaukee called the Running Rebels. Tell us a little bit about what you do in regards to that.
So I am on the board of directors for Running Rebels.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I got involved with the Running Rebels actually through BMO, and they
Okay.
were a client that I was working with, and just going and seeing everything that it was. I was just so like hurt that I didn't know about the Running Rebels growing up, and they're just an amazing organization.
Yes,
They
they
do
are.
so much for the youth in our community, in Milwaukee, and they're always doing something. They have a whole music studio.
Yes, shout out to Quentin, Sir Quentin, best of the best. If you know, he's over there managing majority a lot of the things over there. He's also part of the panel MKE, which is something I'm also a part of. He also does podcasting over there. So if you can't fit in my schedule, definitely go holler at Quentin. He got you too.
Yes, they're offering a few men's
Mm-hmm.
classes. They have cook-offs. They have resource events
They
right there on the
do. I
ground.
I popped into a few of them on Saturdays because Saturdays is usually a busy day, but I may have a random day or two where there's nothing going on for like 4 hours, and there's always something going on. There's literally a straight line down from here at the studio. Very very helpful, very very resourceful. I think I popped in one day when they were doing a panel discussion about men and prostate cancers and better health in regards to that, and learned a few things there. So as a man who is getting close to that required age where I got to turn my head and cough, um, I learned I don't have to do that. There's options, there's other alternatives in regards to that. But of course, I wouldn't have learned that had I not popped in there to support the guys and ladies over there in regards to that. So they are definitely needed. We grew up in an era where we had things like Northcott Neighborhood Center, Levon Ways Boys and Girls Club, things like that, where we used to have our safe spaces. So to know that there's still those kind of safe spaces out there for the current generation, I'm always down to support for no matter what it is when it comes to them. But definitely make sure y'all check them out. Running Rebels. They're on all social media platforms. Just go see. You know what? If you ain't got to do pop in, I guarantee you they got something going on that can help you every weekend. But before we go any further, you are also an author.
Yes.
Okay. You created this amazing book right here in front of me. And it's so funny because I've seen her book before and I didn't know what it was about at first because when I seen the cover, it definitely gave me the Black Renaissance kind of a vibe to it. And it was like Blinded by Pride. But when I really looked at the title, it's like, hold on. There's a lot more to this. So when I found out that you were the actual author, because you don't have your government name on it, you have your pseudonym on there instead. And I found that was your book. I said, no, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this. So Blinded by Pride, 25 years a clown. How did we get here? How did we get here?
So we got here because basically when I got divorced, I did some self reflection.
Okay.
I did some self-reflecting and I did some praying, right?
Okay.
And I just had to figure out like how did I get to this point? Like what did I miss, you know? And when I really started to dig in deep, so around the time when I was like, okay, I gotta separate, I gotta go my separate ways, it was a little bit like doing COVID, little after COVID.
Right.
So I really couldn't at that time everybody was having some sort of issues
Yes.
and you couldn't really get in to see a therapist. You really couldn't get in to see a good therapist. And so I started doing some self therapy
Right.
through like looking at some YouTube videos. And it's just like when you really start praying and asking God the right things, like
Right.
sometimes we just be praying and we don't be really
Just
specific
say,
about it.
look,
We
I
just be
I
saying
need you to
stuff.
help me pay my bill. No, no, Lord, I need you to help pay my car note,
My we
and
energy.
my we
You know
energy
what I'm
bills.
saying? Like
It's okay. You can pay that other credit card. I got it. That's cool. But I need the car note too.
right. Usually we be praying like, Lord, show me a sign. And then
And then don't see the
you
sign.
don't
The
see
sign is there. You don't know what to look for. You got to be
exactly.
specific with
You
him.
gotta be specific. And I started being specific,
Right.
like what I was looking for. And I'm telling you, when you ask, you will receive.
You will. You just got to
Some
be ready.
you gotta be ready. And so I started started watching these videos that was like, okay, it was more on like these are some things you should have did, like some
Right.
self accountability type things. And so like I started like through the last of my relationship, I was like journaling.
Right.
And I just kept like writing down like just kept hearing red flags, red flags, red flags, and clown, clown, clown. And I'm like, what is it with this clown? Like, what's this clown? You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand it, but I'm just writing in my journal. And I'm talking to people about my concept of the book, but I still didn't even understand it yet. Like,
Right.
what am I actually trying to say here? And again, I had to go to God in prayer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, what am I actually trying to say? And I'll never forget. So one, I started to get restless because I'm a serial entrepreneur. I got
Right.
so many business
You
ideas.
do.
I do. I even had to go see a business coach. Shout out to Crystal. She got me together.
So I want y'all to okay. So first and foremost, before you go any further, shout out to you, Crystal, because Crystal's my business coach too. Crystal is also the reason why I'm a business coach now.
Yeah.
So in one of our sessions, while we were unpacking my stuff, and I'm sitting here just running through, and because I'm a serial entrepreneur as well too, and I was like, you know what? I should just, I'm thinking about becoming a business coach. When I tell you, the minute I told you that, Crystal literally stopped the middle of the session, was like, thank you. I've been trying to get you to this point the whole time. Okay, now let's unpack. Let's get this together. So like at least the next 2 or 3 of our sessions was just literally about what does business coaching looking like, and she was like, shout out to you, Crystals, like for real. Like if you can't, first of all, book me snacoaching.com. I'll get you together. But if you can't get a hold of me, Crystal will get you together
Yes,
because she's my business coach. Okay.
yes, she got. You know what? It's so funny because I went to her like, "Hey, I can use you to help other businesses," and I ended up being the person she helped.
I was a part of the Rise MKE program. I was the ninth class, and part of that we were given mentors and stuff like that. So when they were pairing up all the different mentors and whatnot, because of the nature of my business, I didn't know what or who you could possibly pair me up with that I could learn from. But when they gave me a business coach instead, I was like, yeah, see, whatever it is I had to pay for this Rise program, this alone right here was worth it. And I also had been a part of the Sherman Phoenix cohort when they first started doing that. So I technically had classes for Sherman Phoenix and I had classes for Rise, and she ended up being both of them. She ended up being the same person for both of them. So we had a nice series of sessions that look. Crystal, I'm calling you tomorrow. Okay. I'm gonna call you tomorrow. Okay. That's all I gotta say. Get you. I don't care. I I'll say this right now. Whether you have been in business for 15 years or 5 minutes, get you a coach, get you a mentor, get you an advisor. Okay. And then get you some business besties. Okay.
Like-minded individuals.
like-minded individuals. When I tell you, regardless of whatever you're going through, having those four different things will make you will never feel like your business is failing. You'll never. Back to this book.
Yeah,
I'm
back to
sorry.
the
God,
book.
we have to
Okay,
plug.
okay,
We have to plug. We have to plug our coach. Okay.
She's great.
She's awesome.
So yeah, and I was talking to her about all my ideas, and I actually was gonna move with a pet business because I love my dog,
Okay.
and but I just couldn't. I remember one day I couldn't sleep, and I just got up and I just started writing out the chapters of this book.
Right.
So once I got done with writing the chapters and the concept, and I'm just like, what is this clown about? And I literally logged on to one of my YouTube coaches, and it was right there because I went to prayer,
Right.
and she said, "A clown is a willing fool." And
Mm.
I'm like,
Mm.
there we go. There we go. Because that just makes so much sense. Like a clown is a willing fool.
It is.
You're just willing to be a fool for love most of the time. That's what it is.
Good.
Um, and then, I was like, okay, so then I'm looking for more answers. And she said, because of your pride. A lot of times you stick to stuff because of pride. You don't want to fail. You didn't hype stuff up so much, and it's hard to say, dang, that really wasn't it. I was really hiding stuff behind it. I was really suffering. I was really crying at night, but when I was out here presenting myself, we was the Jay-Z and Beyonce. Not that we want to be that anymore because they're in the FD files. But
we're not gonna test that. But they probably are. Okay.
Right. But it was like, always presenting yourself to be that it couple.
Right.
So it was just very hard when you came to the realization like you've been ignoring things to play a certain role and present yourself a certain way. You was willing to be a fool for love. So that was a realization for me, and I'm like, I gotta get this. I gotta tell people about this.
You know what's funny? And as I'm listening to you explain the book, even though the whole purpose of you writing this book is tied to relationships, it can be the same thing for business owners too.
Absolutely.
We get to this point in time where we don't want to seem like we're failing, but the realization is sometimes you have to let it go. There's a lot of businesses out here who refuse to change with the time because they want to stick with their pride or what they intend to be at, or even accept the fact that you're losing more money than you're making just trying to keep these doors open. And we will burn our whole entire relationships, families, finances to the ground just trying to make something work, especially if it's already a family business. Family businesses I've seen the most where people refuse to just say this is not working anymore because they don't want that tarnished legacy that, oh, the business was good when grandpa and pops had it, but all of a sudden now you got it and it's not surviving. It's like, no, it has nothing to do with this person having it. The economy changed, the needs changed, the market changed, the location is not working like it used to be. Everything around it is not making it be conducive for us to keep doing it. But the great thing about that is when you learn to let it go, you can find better, both relationship and business, because maybe this candle business is not what you need, but during the process of you learning about candle business, you found out that coloring books are better for you. Coloring books are more sellable. Now you have a different market. It's still relaxation. That's the whole reason why you wanted it. But now you can sell it to people who work in call centers or to children's or to nursing homes. Like now it's broadened. So now pivoting sometimes could be the best, which brings up coloring books. When you made this book, you have a companion that goes along with it. What's this companion and why do we have it?
So I have these coloring pencils, and the reason being is because I wanted this book to be interactive.
Right.
So my actual target audience is the youth, right?
Okay.
I feel like right now they get so much bad information.
Definitely.
And they don't really, who's guiding them, right?
Right.
Unfortunately, my age group, we still in the club.
Look, I feel judged because I was just there last night, but that was for a different reason. Different reason.
I mean, I
It was
know
still
people,
business.
right. I mean, we're trying to pivot to the loud,
Right.
but we're still living our lives,
Right.
right? And so if you're still trying to figure it out, and they trying to figure it out, who's leading who, right?
With the youth, it's not who's who. Even though we're trying to find ourselves again, I think we're trying to find our fun side, because if you was born in the 80s, we had keys around our necks and we took care of ourselves, and we were adulting before we were supposed to adult, because our parents had to be serious adults. So now we're just trying to find that second childhood. But unfortunately, the kids, they're not coming to us for those informations anymore. They're going to each other. They're going to social media. They're going to television, unfortunately, particularly YouTube University. Hold up. First of all, YouTube University is good if you know where to look, okay? But they're not always looking in the right places. So stuff like this is definitely very important, and just putting it in their faces is very important as well, too. So back to the book.
I wanted it to be interactive.
Okay.
So basically, there's a picture of a clown in the book, and each chapter is associated with a piece of the clown face.
Okay.
So, in each chapter too, there's self-reflective questions.
Okay.
So I always say, if you answer the self-reflective questions honestly, you should be able to identify if the clown is you. Because as you're writing these questions, depending on what you answer, you put a nose on the clown, or the wig on the clown, or the face on the clown. You just got to see how much of the clown you've been, And part of that is, okay, once you've done the self-reflection and you realize, okay, I'm doing this, I don't have any boundaries, or I'm enabling this person to do these things to me, because you person good can only do what you allow them to do, right?
Exactly.
Then the point is to take that information and pivot, be better about that. I always say too, just with this book, is again, it's not just for relationships. I feel like it's for any ship.
Any ships.
Because sometimes family.
Oh, definitely family.
Friends.
That's a whole nother show.
We have one thing I think I suffer from is blind loyalty. You know what I'm saying? I'm loyal to a fault. Like, it's dragging me, but I'm still loyal, So
right.
And just learning how to pivot from that, even sometimes with family. Sometimes you gotta let certain family members go because they're just not here for you. You just blood. That's
right.
It. But everything else is you wouldn't, if this person wasn't your blood, you wouldn't even have anything to do with them.
This is true.
So I just feel like it's for any type of shit. Political. This may not be your candidate.
I'm glad you said that. And I know we getting ready to start moving into this political race situation real soon. But Black people, you do not have to only vote Democrat just because. Please do your homework on your candidates. Sometimes the person that's in that red category is actually for you. You just not hearing what they saying because the blue people is lying a little bit harder to you. Please do your homework on your candidates. Stop voting just because grandma voted blue. Go and vote based off of what fits the needs of what you have. I am being dead serious about that.
And don't just vote for people because they Black. Because
look at what they talking about first, okay?
Yeah.
Listen to them a little bit harder, but don't vote them just because they Black. Yeah. Because all skin folk ain't kin folk. But yeah. Oh, and don't vote for Trump, period. Like, I don't care what side he pop on. Just don't vote for him. Okay.
Well, you know what? So, and I say that because, like, one thing I talk about in this book, right, is like, so the first chapter is boundaries, right, which is very, very, very important because once if you don't have any boundaries or your boundaries are lax and people cross your boundaries and you just
the rest of it don't make no sense.
The rest of it is just
it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work, right? And then I talk about family history. So let's just say you look at the history of someone like Trump and the family he come from and his background. Like, a lot of times when we get in relationships, we don't spend enough time digging into someone's background and where they come from. Just where I come from, right? You don't even look at where people come from
Right.
because you have to understand that this is where they're taught love. This is where they're taught hate. This is where they're taught how to manage their emotions. Maybe dad just walked out and this is how he dealt with stuff. He went to the store for 10 hours and then came back like everything was okay or whatever.
Grocery shopping for 10 hours is crazy.
Just that. And then I talk about friends, like the circle. A person's circle is important too.
Very.
It says a lot about you. So just like we don't spend a lot of time digging into people's background. And I just feel like if you looked at somebody like Trump and you really didn't like just ignore the red flags. And side note, little red flags are red flags.
Still red flags.
They're still red flags. I think like a lot of times too, that's the other thing. Like when I put 10 red flags, I didn't put 10 little red flags or 10 big red flags. No, red flags is red flags.
Is red flags.
And a lot of times we let the little red flags go by, and then like, oh, well, that's not too bad. We make excuses, like, no, I have a chapter in there that's about self-deception. Like a lot of times we are deceiving ourselves into believing. Ain't nobody told you to believe that. You told yourself to believe that. You're making the excuses in your head. This person is showing you who they are. They said it. Just like, I hate to say it, Latinos for Trump. He told you. He told you what he was going to do. Okay, y'all made a song and everything. It's a bop. But y'all made the song. and then look. And look.
That is, well, I've come to realize I had to do my homework. Because when he won, my first thought was America is still racist. And then my second one was America's not ready for a woman to be in charge. But when I looked and seen that the majority of the ones that voted in his favor were Latino men, followed up behind with Latino women, I had to look at it differently. It's like, nah, it's a cultural mindset. It's a cultural mindset that they're felt to believe that mentality is the norm. So therefore, putting that in position, then something that's serious change, that's just not what they're going to do. Which now he's an idiot doing idiot things. I thought people learned the first time he did idiot stuff. We shut down for a whole 2 weeks, and then the world ain't been right since. My business grew. So thank you, Trump. But that's a whole nother story. If he wouldn't have been stupid. But it's a cultural thing. And unfortunately, America, when it comes to politics, we're so, don't talk about it, that bad decisions that the country makes as a whole happen. I feel like we do need to talk about politics more. I think we do need to have those open, honest conversations and actually make our politicians truly back up what they say. Because if you look at political campaigns right now, not a single politic talks about what they stand for anymore. All they do is point out what the other person did wrong, whether it's true or not. And it's more about, well, I'm the lesser of two evil. Vote for me, more so than, yeah, you put me in office, this is what I'll do. It's to the point where I don't even look at political campaigns no more, because it's never going to be you telling what you're going to do, because if you say, hey, you get me in office, I'll fix the food crisis in the city of Milwaukee so there's not so many food deserts, we're going to hold you accountable for that. But if you sit here and say, well, that person over there voted for the time when they wanted to close the grocery stores on North Avenue. Oh, we don't like you, so we're going to vote for this person instead. And now that person doesn't even have to fix the issue on North Avenue with the food desert. They could just be like, okay, well, y'all voted me because y'all didn't like he closed it. And we got to change the way we look at politics as a whole because of that.
I agree. And I don't know how we can get to this place, but we need to start holding them accountable.
We actually need to start showing up in these spaces where they're required to talk. We need to start, the minute you find out somebody is running for a particular office, letters, emails, campaigns, conversations need to be generated at this individual. If you're finding out that, candidate John Doe is going to be in Greenfield this weekend talking at this restaurant, you need to be at that restaurant. Ask the questions that matter. Bombard them with that. Force it to be in front of them, because now it's to the point where they only talk about big things that really don't affect the ground level too often. Also, we actually need to figure out what the chain of command in politics look like in our city. Like, a lot of people don't know what an alderman really supposed to do. A lot of people don't know who their alderman is. They know the name of a popular alderman, but that's not your alderman. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know who to hold accountable first. And I feel like that's a two-way street, though. Those people who are in these political positions need to let their faces be known and let them know, I'm your person or your point of interest. Let's get these things. You can have Lisbon full of potholes, but Lisbon ain't never going to be fixed if you don't tell the person in charge of Lisbon what's going on over here. But you'll just go and continue to keep paying for new tires and new axles, when easily all it takes is a bunch of y'all to come together, get on the city and says, look, you got to fix this over here, or else we're going to vote somebody else to be in your spot. Exactly. It's just be that, and people don't understand. It's just that simple. Yeah. It's just that simple. But I don't want to keep you here too much longer. Definitely make sure you guys go ahead and pick up the book. Where can we find this book at?
So this book is on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble, online. You can pretty much Google it. You can find this book everywhere. So.
It's actually true. Because when I was getting ready to put together a review and whatnot, this book was everywhere. See, but I ain't got to go buy it because I got blessed with my own signed copy. So I have one already, but go get yours. Also, people, make sure you come out this Saturday, February 28th. We are at the Zufari at the county zoo, where we're doing the third annual Black Business Expo. There's over 60 vendors that will be there. So you definitely want to go there. There's panelists that you want to sit down and have a conversation with them. Come talk to me. I got a lot going on, so I'll be there too, as well. We have live entertainment. Just come out and support all these Black businesses. There's a lot of amazing Black businesses that will be there. I was looking at the list the other day, and there's so many of my friends that are a part of it that I didn't even know that they signed up for. So I'm excited. We're talking about thousands of people coming to literally support so many different businesses in regards to that. But outside of that, how can they get a hold of you in regards to if they want to, come visit you at BMO and help them get their lives together? Because we need some loans out here. We need to get people.
We do. I'm always hosting some events for business owners. So usually advertising that on my Facebook, on my Instagram. Also, too, I'm located on the 75th and 76th and North Avenue branch.
Yeah.
Call there, call the number there.
Okay.
They'll get you in contact with me. My email address, kanini.mcdaniel@bmo.com. So email me, let me know if you need an appointment, you need some help. I'm more than happy to help you. I got resources.
Okay.
So I'm the type of person where if it doesn't work for, if I can't make it work for you at BMO, I know somebody who can make it work.
Exactly. That's one thing I can't say about BMO. They do work together. So with that being said, people, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Where I Come From. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Check us out on all streaming platforms, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever else you listen to your podcast at. Check out past episodes on our YouTube channel, Where I Come From MKE. And with that being said, people, we are out of here. Peace. This is where I gotta get up.